Welcome back to the Drive Home. It is Coach Pete here with you this evening, and we also have a guest who stormed in, burst the door open, and was like, "What's up?" So, if anyone heard that, that was what was happening. We can't contain his excitement. He's sat here with a big smile on his face, and I can't wait to go into detail about what we're going to talk about today. Which, as always, I think we're going to go off on a tangent. We're probably not going to cover anything that we discussed prior to the show. But do you want to give a well, who are you first of all?
It's good to see you, buddy.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
Tareq, Tareq Hawasli. Born and raised in the States and living in London, and lived in the GCC for 11 years. And, Saudi's my second home, and it's just good to be here. Flew in from Riyadh today, just saw Leap. Wow.
Oh, yes.
Wow. I mean, that place was... It's just, Saudi's happening right now.
It is.
It's just happening right now.
Because explain for people who might not know, Leap 23 is...
Well, so basically it's, I guess, the premier technology VC expo, if you will, the AI, robotics, everything that's happening. The future is here.
I see.
I mean, everyone's talking about all this stuff that I'm just learning, that all your younger listeners, Chat GPT and all this stuff. Basically, I'm afraid we're going to be run by robots in 10 to 15 years. It is crazy.
I would be trying to, sort out content for my shows, but ChatGPT is not allowed here. I can't access it because I would be like, make me a show about this for the radio with this tone and this, and then it would just spit me out a script, I'm sure.
Well, imagine you're an 11-year-old student right now, and
it's banned from schools are banning it, aren't they?
How are you going to control that ban?
Well, exactly. it's like ooh.
Chaos, but excitement. The future looks great for the kingdom. I mean, a lot of people are moving here. A lot of my friends are asking me about intros.
Okay.
And it's just Saudi Arabia. It's lovely to finally be. It's becoming discovered, if you will, for what it's always been.
Yes.
But under His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman, he's been able to really bring this to the whole world, this country, this revelation, and it's exciting times. There's nothing else to say. I mean, it's just every single sector is facing disruption, growth. Reminds me, I guess if I was to draw an analogy, in the United States in the 19th century, the rush to the gold rush to California. I mean, so Saudi Arabia is just, it's abundance. Peace and prosperity, all about, and lovely to be on your show, man.
I know. I think we should give a bit of context. So you, I think, tapped me on the shoulder or said hi to me when we were at the first Formula One.
That's right.
You were sat there with two friends.
Yeah, with Jeff and Jesse.
Yes.
From Boston, New York, Professor Jeff Busgang from Harvard Business School, and Jesse is a partner at Flybridge.
He was here not too long ago, a few weeks ago, I think a month ago or something, and we tried to hook up, but we just couldn't get the timings.
Yeah, man, they're phenomenal.
But so you're the first one on the show. I'm sure they'll be queuing up.
Well,
afterwards.
Jesse, I'm sure for sure. But they send you their best as well.
Okay.
I mean, living in London right now, growing happily. Things are going well in London. People are, don't watch the media kind of says differently, but I think London will always be that city, which is like the world's global city, if you will.
Yeah.
My favorite city in the world, just because I love to walk. That's what I do every morning. I'm a huge walker.
Have you been getting any of that in, other than at the inside of an exhibition?
Well, that's the problem. But I think, I'm going to, after this, go for a long walk on the Corniche.
Nice.
See the Red Sea. It's one of my favorite things to do. Okay. See those guys with their fishing poles and see what type of fish they've drawn in today.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But so we met at the F1. You sort of reached out and you must have been like, this guy looks foreign.
Yeah.
Non-Saudi.
Yeah.
Let's have a talk with him.
Yeah, you have a very friendly face. And,
I don't know. I swear I have F off written over my forehead most of the time.
You definitely don't, man. Right? Don't put yourself like that. No, it's very friendly and it was just nice meeting someone. And
it was. And we basically spent the rest of the day, didn't we? Yeah, eating sushi, watching the race.
Being pampered.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some first class stuff. That was a great inaugural race. Looking forward to the next one. I think it's in a month.
Yeah. Mid-March, I think.
Right before Ramadan, which makes sense. You don't want to do it during Ramadan. But it's that's where we met, and I've been coming back. I was here last at the FII, and then afterwards met up with Jeff and Jesse, and then went to the States. Saw my mom, family, celebrated the holidays with them, and yeah.
And so you've been over, but you always come back to the region.
Well, you know, I mean,
that's where the work is.
Jeddah, as they say, right? So Jeddah's just got a magical place in my heart, and in many people's hearts. Its proximity to the Red Sea, to Mecca, Medina, for 2 billion Muslims. It's just lively kind of international community. I mean, anyone in Jeddah is, from Saudi Arabia, from different parts of the world. They're Saudis. It's a great melting pot of the whole world. I mean, so yeah, but I love coming to Riyadh. That's where the action's at right now. But always stopping by Jeddah, chilling out with my friend Peter.
Staying at the Ritz and enjoying that.
Yeah, sometimes Sheraton, sometimes Ritz, sometimes I'll go 3-star, 4-star, wherever I can get a couch.
Well,
maybe your place next time.
Yeah, I was going to say we've now moved up and we've got a 2-bed. So
congratulations.
I mean, we do need a bed in the second room. It's currently Taya's yoga studio.
Okay.
/ my office.
How's Taya doing?
She is very well. She might even be listening.
Okay. Hello, Taya.
Yes, all the way from Switzerland. So this is
cold.
Really, I mean, yeah. Well, I
don't do well in the cold.
It's funny. Before you came, I was like, make sure you bring a jumper.
Yeah, I know.
Because honestly, the studio gets freezing.
Yeah, it is a bit cold in here. I mean, this is if I'm not mistaken, one of the oldest radio stations in the kingdom.
It is.
Yeah.
So there's literally people out there listening who have been listening to this station for decades.
Yeah. You want to know, actually, the first time I actually discovered Saudi Arabia was through a teacher of mine in middle school and high school, actually, Coach Hoskins, may he rest in peace. And he was like, where are you from originally? And I was like, I'm Arab. I didn't want to, I was in the States. This was in the early 90s. And he's like, I love Saudi Arabia. And I was just like, wow. I was like, how do you know about Saudi Arabia? He's like, I lived there for like 10 years. I think he had a relationship with Aramco. He goes, the friendliest people, the most generous people, the loveliest time me and my wife had. He goes, that if you're in the future, if you're ever going to go somewhere, go there. And it's been 21 years. I've been coming here back and forth.
That was sort of lodged into your mind at that point.
He planted the seed. I started my career out in Bahrain in 2002 when I graduated from the University of Georgia for a PE firm called Our Capita. And the first market that I was working in was actually Jeddah. So I lived in Jeddah from 2003 to 2005.
Wow, okay.
Staying at the Westin Hotel, which is now defunct, but behind the Hilton. I'd be between the Hilton and Westin. On the Corniche, and man, those were different times when I first came here.
I'm sure we'll get onto that soon.
Yeah.
So what is it you do at the moment then?
So real estate primarily with Darin Partners. We have a commercial property platform. We manage property on behalf of 5 single families and a Kuwaiti institution. We also have a tech partnership with our friends Jeff and Jesse at Flybridge. And there was a time where I worked at Sheffield United as a director of the football club.
I did a bit of Googling and I did see that.
I don't really, there's not much on me. I mean, I'm just a high-class waiter, flesh, bones, and dust, nothing more.
You do have a very a strong profile picture. Yeah, generally across the board.
Yeah,
this guy means business. Yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Peter, the one thing you can't buy is time, man. You just can't buy time, and. I love to work. I love to add value to people. I like to make people smile. I like to bring them hope. Yeah.
And that, I think, is one of the biggest things from you, and sort of spending that day with you at the F1 that time. It was, you knew everyone.
Yeah.
And I think it's sort of anyone who was walking past, or you would say hi, they would say hi to you, and you'd do the intros. And even now, like, when you're coming over here, it's like, oh, you need to meet this person, you need to meet that person, or I've been speaking to this person, and we, mutual friends and this. Like, you're so well connected, and also so giving and generous, I think, which is I think why we got on in the first place, because you're such a nice, humble guy, from my experience.
I appreciate that. I mean, look, connecting good people to good people, that's I think in my ethos. It's what I do, and literally it's what gives me that, and the truth, it gives me fresh air. So I always like that, just keep going on to the next and next. And if anyone can help you, if you can help someone else, why not, right?
For sure.
We need to help one another in this world.
Yeah.
So that's connecting the dots, as my brother says.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I do.
That's not a tagline for your company, is it?
No.
Should be,
no. Well, we'll take that offline.
All right, we are going to go to a short musical break now. Welcome back to the drive home. It is Coach Pete here with you this evening, and alongside me is my co-host slash guest. You're dressed very well.
Thank you.
You make me look like a sort of a vagabond or something.
I'm a high class waiter. You know, waiters dress like this, my friend. You're the stylish man. You're the principal.
Well, I'll take that. I'll take that.
I appreciate it though. I like to look the part. You know, we don't all have a nice head of hair like you do, so we gotta.
Well, you got a good set of teeth on you now.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, thank you.
But before the break, we were talking about your history coming here, and you were here for a few years in Saudi, in Jeddah.
Yeah.
And remind me, when was that? Was that early 2000s?
So 2003.
For a couple of years.
I was here for a couple of years. I'd fly in on a Sunday, and I'd fly back to Bahrain either Wednesday afternoon or Thursday morning.
I see.
So I was here for 4 or 5 days a week, and God, was it different. I remember my first time here, I stayed at the Hilton, and I wanted to go for a jog. So I wore my shorts, my T-shirt, I just graduated from the University of Georgia, feeling good, and went jogging on the Corniche, and all of a sudden, this car passes by and slows down and I get whistled at, and I was like, I must be hearing something.
Really? Okay.
And then another car comes by, and a guy just sticks his arms out and says, "Ah!" And I'm like, "What the heck is going on?" So I talked to someone, on the street. I'm like, "What's going on with the guys here? They keep whistling at me." He's like, "Yeah, guys don't wear shorts, here, buddy. You need to go wear your pants if you're going to go jogging."
Even activity-wise?
Yeah, activity-wise. This is 2003, and I mean, now today, it's like, I mean, I'm not going to say it's like London, but it's like Dubai, it's like Bahrain. It's really normal. You see girls, you see guys. It's very natural.
I think it was 6 months ago. They there was an order to allow shorts being sort of worn in any building, non-governmental building. It's a good thing you wore your trousers today.
I've got my trousers, man. I want to look good. I'm an official guy.
But yeah, so that's changing. And again, people have messaged via YouTube and sort of have all these preconceptions about kind of, what they've read from 5 years ago, 10 years ago on the internet. And man, it couldn't be more wrong. So how your experiences coming here now, I mean, damn, you were at the F1 versus being shouted at when you were jogging wearing shorts. How has that over the years, and up until now, how has that changed?
Massively. I mean, massively? We have a saying in Arabic, خير الأمور الوسط. The best way to go is the middle path. So it's just the way to, it's a religious saying by the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and I believe in the middle path. I believe most people in the world believe the middle path is the best way. Keep your moral fiber. We love Saudi Arabia. We love the culture. We love the history. But at the same time, allow people to choose how they want to live their life. And that's what's happening here. And it's an organic change. At first, it was a bit odd, I think, for people. But,
change
now it's normal.
Is, right?
Change is. But now if you see a woman driving, it's absolutely comfortable. It's easy. Now, I'm not saying they're the best drivers in the world, but but let's not go there.
Shots fired. But then equally.
But I don't drive. I'm the worst driver in the world, so I can't speak, all right? I mean, I'm known to be a horrible driver. But it's great to see that. It's great to see movie theaters. It's great to see people have opportunities to go and just listen to music and enjoy life and enjoy the freedoms. But at the same time, it's great to see the traditions of Ramadan, of Eid, prayer. It's nice. You have it all.
We got the founding day coming back actually at the end of this month.
That's right.
Towards the end of this month, 22nd or 23rd.
That's right.
So I might even whip my thobe out again.
Whip it out, buddy. the thobe.
And get someone to obviously fix the headpiece.
Peter of Arabia.
Yes.
100 years after Lawrence.
Make sure I don't sort of bend over, pick something up, or everything falls off.
Nah, you'll be fine. No, don't worry.
But yeah, I feel like that'll come back. But yeah, the sort of, I think the pride in the country, sort of from locals, from Saudis, from expats as well, is probably, well, talk to me about that. How has that national pride increased over the years?
So Saudi Arabia has always had a national pride. So if you go back to the history of Saudi Arabia, Abdulaziz, at the time, Ibn Saud they called him, and then King Abdulaziz, he was a uniter. At the time, Saudi Arabia was tribes. It was disorganized. It wasn't united. And then there was a pact called the Darin Pact in 1915, actually brokered by a female, Gertrude Bell. They made a movie about her a couple of years back. Nicole Kidman was the star in it. And it was amazing. Her, Sir Percy Cox from the British Empire, and Ibn Saud met together, and the British Empire was the first country to officially recognize him being the ruler of Najd, which then became Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
So they've always had pride. And at the time, it was just tribal pride. But he was able to unite it and create Saudi Arabia. So the people always had that pride. But then the crown prince came along, Mohammed bin Salman, and he's been able to showcase that pride to the rest of the world. I think he's done a fabulous job doing that.
Okay, as did the football team.
Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess, are you talking about Nasser and Ronaldo, or are you talking about Argentina?
I'm talking about the Argentina-Saudi game, but then that as well.
I mean, Argentina, that'll go down in the history, I think, for the next 1,000 years.
Man, won't it?
The greatest upset ever. And if they took 1 month off, I would have not blamed them, because that was something.
I remember being here on the sort of day after, or the day of, or the day after I think it was, and it was like there was the royal decree of tomorrow is a national holiday.
That's right.
It's like boom, okay, amazing.
Happy days.
But yeah, like the roads were just packed, Saudi flags up, people standing on cars down King's Road, everything. It was like another Saudi National Day.
Absolutely, and Saudi Arabia's been investing a lot of money into sports. If you will, I mean, look at the way they played, not just against Argentina, but the other teams. They played very well. I really think Saudi Arabia is going to continue to be a force in football. Let's say not American NFL football, global football. All right, and long may they continue to. It's great to see what Al Hilal is doing. I mean, they've got a match in a couple of days.
Club World Cup or something.
That's right,
Yeah.
and hey, I mean, it's one of the most successful clubs in all of Asia, definitely, but maybe in the world. I mean, and the whole Saudinization, it's the promotion, the leadership that are going into place in sports and other sectors. I mean, good people are running the ship here. It's good to see.
It really does seem that way.
It does.
So obviously you've had a fair amount of business over the years here.
Yeah.
Is that gonna increase, do you think?
I don't know is the truth. There's two types of, if you will, rizq, wealth. The one that falls on your lap, and the one that you go and you kind of strategize and you go for. And the one that falls on your lap, you can't really plan for it. It just happens. You meet someone, you do this, that, and then all of a sudden fortune comes to you.
Yeah.
I've always had very strong relationships, not just in Saudi Arabia, but the UAE, where I lived 4 years, Bahrain, of course, which is dear to my heart, Kuwait, so the GCC in total, but Saudi Arabia and Riyadh in particular, I definitely see myself spending a lot more time there, and I love hosting people who when they come to London, because London's a second home for people from Saudi Arabia and the GCC.
Yes,
as you know,
there is a. Whenever I sort of say I'm from London, people are like, why are you here? I'm like, I'm not a fan of London. I'm more than happy to stay here and not go back, but I think it's different when you're living versus.
Well, I mean, unless it's June, July, or August, I'm sure you'd rather be in London then.
I don't know. There's no AC.
There is no
40 degrees with no AC.
Yeah, that's a fair point. July was bad. July last year was real bad. I got out of there. I think definitely a good point.
Came to Saudi to cool down.
Yeah, it's cold in here.
Yes, I know. Bring a jumper.
But yeah, Saudi Arabia. Look, it's comfortable. Aren't you comfortable living here?
Oh, for sure.
Don't you feel safe?
And then some. Yeah.
All right, so that's something. These are intangibles, or tangibles, if you will, that you just can't find in most parts of the world. I mean, in London, if I'm walking, I'm not going to wear a nice watch. I don't recommend anyone wears a nice watch. I'm not, if you drive a fancy car, I hope you have an SUV filled, have 4 or 5 security guards behind you, because, it's a post-COVID world. London's different, right? The Western world's kind of different right now. So very comfortable, very safe. I mean, you and your partner, I mean, she can go wherever she wants to at 1, 2 a.m. You're not worried about her.
Yeah, I think it's that sort of feeling of abundance here in so many different ways versus, speaking to friends back home, there is definitely a feeling of scarcity and, just, conscious of spending, of commitments and responsibilities. Whereas here it's kind of like everyone seems to just be moving collectively forwards, if that makes sense.
There's a united front. There's definitely a united front, and that's something that I felt more so, especially post-COVID, than I ever have before. People want to be here, and Saudi Arabia has opened their arms and said, welcome. Yes. Whereas in the past, they were a bit more guarded, more closed, and, of course they were welcoming, but not like now.
Well, there's a sort of amazing things with the tourist visa for starters a few years ago, and now I think they've just launched the world's first transit visa.
That's right.
Meaning you can spend a couple of days in the kingdom, in the country, between travels, right? So all of this stuff is amazing.
In Ramadan, I was here, and I fast. I enjoy fasting, and there's many spiritual. I think a lot of people, actually Western people who don't practice Islam, actually fast. And I was walking on the Corniche last year, and one of my friends who I was going to have iftar, breaking the fast with, had to cancel. There was an emergency, so I had nowhere to go. So I was just walking, and it was time to break the fast. And I looked at a guy who was sitting alone, and I said, may I share with you? No, I didn't even say. He just looked, I swear to God, he looked at my eyes, and he just told me, sit down, eat with me.
Okay. I was going to say, that's different to you asking to have his food.
I didn't. No, I didn't ask. I was going to ask, but he looked at my eyes. He saw I was going to ask, and he literally offered. And we sat there maybe for 4 hours. We talked. We spent the whole evening together. That's just a warmth that you don't get in you get it in the South in the United States. So I'm from Georgia. So Southern hospitality is well known. Yes. And, Georgia named after King George, of course. A little history fact for you. So you do have that in parts of America without a doubt, but you don't in New York, London, big cities, Paris. You don't get that kind of treatment
at all. I mean, I'm sure that was a bit of a different experience to your Corniche run.
Definitely. That Corniche run. I actually ran back to the hotel room. I was a bit. That was a weird. I was like, am I in trouble? Yeah.
Someone lock the door.
Mommy.
Booking your flight. Yeah. You're killing it.
Man, it's great talking to you, man.
You're doing well. History lessons and all sorts.
I love talking to you. You're my friend. You're a good man. You have positive energy.
Before we were at the break, I mean, we were talking all sorts. And, I mean, it's amazing you've been here over the years, for business, and you've managed to see the country evolve and develop over that time. And so I think one of the big things is, obviously, we've got a lot of expats listening to the station, being the number one, or the only, number one by default.
Is it really the only?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So the only English station in the kingdom. So people have no choice but to listen to us.
Well, good for you.
Which is, yes. So everyone out there who's listening, thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. And one of the things, I get a lot of questions through Instagram is from expats who are thinking about coming to Saudi. And so I think a lot of people are going to resonate with this topic. And so I would love to know, when you speak to people about you're off to Saudi, or you're doing this, you're doing that, or what's it like there, and all this kind of stuff, what are common perceptions people have about, life here? Or is there any nervousness people have about moving here?
Look, naturally, there's a little bit of nervousness. Historically, Saudi Arabia, wasn't exactly the place of choice to come for an expat. It was, Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai later on, and so forth. But the last, I would say, 4 to 5 years, things have definitely changed, and especially post-COVID. I mean, people go to Al-Ula, people, they go to the Red Sea, they go to Old Jeddah, they go to Riyadh, they go to Diriyah. They see the different, Saudi Arabia is full of nature. People just think it's one big country that's just a desert, but it's just not. It's so much more than that.
Well, after the rain, it's a green desert now. Well, have you seen these videos?
It's changing.
Yes.
One of my friends was telling me the prophecy is coming true. I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to go there. But yeah, it is changing. And the weather's changing as well. But expats now, I think they're nervous on their first time coming here, but when they land, instantly that nervousness is alleviated, and that good energy, that vibe. And I've brought over 4 or 5 business friends and just social friends out here. They come back. I mean, one of them, our friend Jesse, I mean, he's coming here with his wife to spend a week.
Okay.
Jesse's a partner. Her father used to work at Aramco 30 years ago, and she's just dying to see Saudi Arabia that Jesse's talked about. So, you know, people definitely have changed. It's going to take a little bit more time. There's nothing wrong with that, you know, but the more people come, the more people get comfortable. And look at you. I mean, you live here now. You and your partner live here. You can live anywhere in the world, but you choose to live here. And I mean, are you happy?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. I mean, so, and so what people are looking for, I mean, anyone, any expat, comfort, you know, good food, good weather, safety, opportunity, security. You know, Saudi Arabia has that, and opportunities growing. I mentioned the gold rush. I mean, you know, you really can come to this country, work hard, keep your head down, make some good relationships, and make a good living. And as a Brit, tax free, right? You know, work here 20, 30 years, go back, and you know, if you ever want to go back or kind of spend, you know, 6 months here, 6 months there. So, I mean, you know, the world's your oyster, and Saudi Arabia is definitely on the map right now.
It is. And I think one of the things that comes through a lot is sort of on that topic of security, right? We've spoken about feeling safe, and like never once have I felt threatened here. Well, I take that back. One time I felt threatened here. You're a big guy. I was in a Starbucks.
Okay.
I was wearing shorts.
Oh no!
This is like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And the barista comes up to me and he's like, "That guy who was just sat there, he sent your picture. He told me he sent your picture to the government because of your shorts.
Yeah.
And he says if I serve you again, I'm gonna lose my job."
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a similar reaction to you, right?
Yeah.
Like where it's like, what?
Yeah.
What do I? But
first of all, that's odd. That guy took a picture of your legs.
And illegal, I'm sure as well, without my permission.
Yeah, exactly.
But there were like 4 other people who were obviously listening into the conversation, and they were like, ignore him.
Awesome.
Old school. Like, do not worry. Because I was there like waiting for the police things to come up. But yeah, like instantly then I was settled and comfortable, because you know it's the unknown, right? The unknown is what breeds sort of fear and anxiety and all that kind of stuff, and it's very daunting. So to have information readily available, or people you know on the ground, I think is a huge just guardian angel, safety net, whatever you want to call it. And I think just the more people coming here, the more, you know, attention it gets, the more people are going to want to move here, right? Because they see opportunity, they see potential, they see abundance.
Look, if they don't even move here, at least spend their time traveling, being tourists here, and you know, people now from the UK, from the US, from France, Germany. I mean, I had a friend of mine. He's from Austria. He's a physician. He's a doctor, a very successful doctor. And I don't necessarily agree with his statement, but he said, look, the West seems like, especially mainland Europe, seems like it's going through a stage of decline, while the GCC in Saudi Arabia seems to be on the up and up.
Yeah.
And for my kids, I want to live in an environment like that. And this guy's a secular. I mean, he could choose to live wherever he wants. He makes a lot of money in Austria. He doesn't need it. You know, it's not a financial decision. So I was surprised to hear him say that. And I think you're going to hear more and more people. I've had in the last year people from Europe and America, top prominent people, important people, reach out to me and just pick my brain and just be like, just tell us a little bit about Saudi Arabia. Tell us what's going on here. You know, we know Dubai, you know, but Saudi Arabia is different than Dubai, right? So Dubai is great, but Saudi Arabia is a country, if you will, that I don't know, the sky's the limit. And if you're an expat, I'm just, I come and visit and spend a week, spend 10 days and and see for yourself. Seeing is believing, right?
Man, I need to. I'm still trying to get my parents over to visit.
Yeah?
It's been nearly 4 years.
Yeah.
And it's still, every time it's like, yeah, no, we'll visit.
Well,
and I'm like, when?
well, make sure, tell them January, February in London are pretty boring, dead, ugly.
They're
gray
retired
areas.
as well. There's no excuse.
Well, then it's on you to pay for their tickets. You know what? It's on you to pay for their tickets and not to give them a choice. And then and then they'll feel guilty. Here are 2 tickets. Are you going to really throw them away? Bring them over here yourself, man. And then I guarantee they're going to want to spend more and more time with you guys.
I like that. I like that thinking.
Thank you.
I'll look for the cheapest flight times.
Definitely.
It'll be like a 3 a.m. on a Monday.
I kid you not. Saudi Airlines is probably one of my favorite airlines.
They're decent.
Good
like
food. Really good food. And
I agree.
You know, I think it's one of the most. So they have a section in the back of that plane. I think it's like a prayer hall.
Yeah, for prayer.
My legs were cramping up. I literally just stretch. I go and do a little bit of like.
Oh, okay.
No other airline gives you that.
So I kind of do the same thing, kind of like stretch your legs and everything. But like I always do it outside of that area because I'm not sure if I'm allowed in or not.
I take the overnight flights. Most people are passed out. I don't really sleep well on the plane, so I just go back there, do my thing.
You got your interval timer on. 20 seconds.
I'm not as sophisticated as you, Pete. I'm 43, not 23. I mean, I just know the 5-6 stretches that people teach me.
Obviously works. You'll have like you have a group there by the end of the flight.
No, I don't want that.
Tareq, come on, we need to stretch. take the class.
Maybe in my next life, man. I don't think this one.
No, you've got the energy. Energy. But so great. Like that is all around kind of expats' perceptions and what the outside view is looking in. When it comes to, I mean, have you met many expats here? You must have done.
Yeah.
Myself included.
Yeah.
And do they generally all say the same kind of script almost?
No.
Okay.
So you have your optimists and pessimists.
Because one of the things that I really like doing is sort of, life isn't sunshine and rainbows, right?
It isn't.
There's always difficulties, there's always issues, there's always problems. And so, when painting the picture for people who are kind of asking the question about what's Saudi like, this and that, like you have to give both sides.
That's right.
And so, it's great you've actually you've said that. You get the optimists, you get the pessimists, and what are the 2 camps? What would you say are the common themes there?
So everyone that comes here that I've spoken to, they don't know what to expect, right? And that's just in general any country you visit. A few of the expats, let's say, moved from Dubai, okay, and expect everyone to be fluent in English.
I see.
Saudi Arabia is an Arabic country.
Yeah.
A lot of people speak English and are learning English, but they take a lot of pride in their Arabic language. And some people still don't speak English, for example.
Yeah.
So expats sometimes need to realize that you have to kind of adapt to the local culture. If you go to China, I mean, most people, even the most sophisticated speak Mandarin. I mean, right? So if you go to Mexico, well, Spain, Spanish, right? So Arabic is the language of Saudi Arabia. They take pride in their language. It's changing with the younger generation. They speak English a lot more, just like the Bahrainis, the Emiratis, and so forth. But they definitely want to preserve the language and progress the language. So that's one thing that I think I would say older generation people.
Well, and to be honest, I've probably fallen victim to that as well, because you travel and there's a sort of how do we say this nicely? I mean, there's not a nice way to say it.
Yeah.
There's a sort of an ego, right?
Yeah.
There's an ego for an English person, an American, where it's like everyone. I assume everyone speaks English, and that's obviously not the case, and neither should you expect it. So, sort of coming into the country, it's especially as you say. Like you cannot have that. You cannot put that expectation on everyone.
No, and I challenge you, Pete. I mean, I tell people, learn even some Arabic. Arabic is a beautiful language. It's such a beautiful Semitic language with history.
So we've got our first...
Not just the cuss words.
although people in the gym were very much obliged to teach me those.
Yeah.
Had our first... So we were meant to have our first Arabic lesson, me and Taya. but she's traveling this week. So we have it on Monday. We've got our first Arabic lesson.
Awesome. I'm proud of you, man. Let me know how it goes. It's a hard language, but take it step by step. I swear, my mom and dad tried to teach me Arabic growing up in the States, and I learned a little bit in the summer. But coming to Saudi Arabia from 2003 to 5, I was forced to learn Arabic because no one spoke English.
So when are you going to move to Saudi?
Yeah, no, a lot of friends ask me that. Look, right now London's my home. It straddles the two worlds I'm involved in. You know, my family being in the U.S., businesses in the U.S., also an investor base and friends in the GCC. So London's the kind of ideal place for me to be right now.
Awesome.
But maybe one day, you never know. You never know. Yeah. At least part-time in the wintertime, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, just avoid the rain.
Yes.
And I'm sure, did you see some videos about that?
Unfortunate, but you know, there's been a lot of sadness in the world. My heart's broken. I'm sure everyone's heart's broken. What happened in Turkey, Syria, you know, the numbers are coming in. Maybe we can give them
it's unreal,
a little prayer to all your listeners, because that hit hard. We're positive people, and we believe in goodness for those who went, but that was hard. And it was hard for those people in Jeddah, the floods, so forth. But I'm sure that in time, these things will be accounted for and taken. You know, changes will happen.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But so, what would your advice be to potential expats coming into the kingdom?
That's a good question. Deep question.
Very good question.
Pete, first of all, come in with an open mind and open heart. Because if you don't do that, you're setting yourself up for failure, or you're closing doors that wouldn't necessarily be closed. Number 2, be humble. Coming over here, just like, you know, people from here go to the west or go to the east. You know, it's nice to just come in and realize that ultimately you're one of 8 billion people in this world. All we are flesh, bones, and dust. So just come in here and, you know, with a happy, positive attitude, and add value, right? Add value and find your prosperity. Meet locals like you did. You know, some of them will be great, some of them won't. Different chemistries, you know, match. So meet people that you can become friends with, that can show you Saudi Arabia through their eyes, through their lens. I personally don't really watch the news or media I kind of stay away. I like to kind of make my own judgment. I like by meeting people, by seeing how I'm treated in any country I go to, and I think that's the right approach I'd take if I was an expat.
And to be honest, I think most of that is relevant to anyone and everyone.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
I think a lot of the time we like to caress our ego.
Yes.
we sort of like to elevate ourselves above others. And so, man, like that I think is one of the biggest things is be humble.
Yes. I mean,
you can never be too humble.
Be humble and kind. Really, you're a failure in my book. I mean, if you don't just have empathy and respect for your fellow man or woman, then truly you're a lost soul. That would be, I guess, my advice. And you know, right now is a hot time to be here. It's, you know, literally, you know, not yet. It's not May or June, but it's a good time to be here if you're young. Come to Saudi Arabia. It's a great place to start out your career. You know, similar to Dubai and Singapore and London and New York. You know, it's not there yet, but it's on the up and up. And if you're here like you have that first mover's advantage. Just like people who went to Dubai in the mid to late 90s.
Yes.
You know, it's that kind of moment right now in Saudi Arabia.
And nothing seems, I mean, you might sort of have a different opinion on this, nothing seems to be too saturated.
Yes.
So in terms of opportunity, and I mean, this is for anyone and everyone, right? Sort of people who live in here, local Saudis or expats or people coming in, like the opportunity to, whether it's, well, either make a name for yourself or impact others, I think, which is important, is or impact a business is huge, and probably like you wouldn't get anywhere else in the world. because of the saturation in other industries. For example, if I wanted to be on the radio in London on Kiss FM or something, I think I would be very, 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 very far down the pecking order.
You sell yourself short. You're a natural, man. Yeah, the sky's the limit for you, but you're going to do it in Saudi Arabia. They need you. We need you here. Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. But yeah, like, it just, stuff isn't saturated, so you can do and make real good progress in many disciplines, whether that is work related, whether that is hobby, whether that is sport. And I mean, it's just booming in so many ways.
2/3 of Saudi Arabia is under the age of 35. It's your world, man. I mean,
I just turned 33. I'm nearly out of that bracket.
It's your world. It's
for 2 more years.
You know, it's a young country. Obviously, there's a lot of growth that needs to happen, natural growth, organic growth. There will be mistakes, you know, patience needs to be done. You know, if you're going to expect this place to be, you know, instant gratification, then it's not the right place for you. But, you know, if you come here and you see some light, then stick with it, just like you are.
Amazing. No, I agree. Before we close out the show, final words.
Final words.
I'm keeping it very general.
It's so great to see you.
I will steer you towards a question, and then it's very good to see you as well.
Yeah.
When you walk down the street in Saudi Arabia, the Corniche, outside your hotel, whatever it is, what goes through your mind?
The past, the present, and the future, and how I can learn from the mistakes of my past, what I'm doing in my present and living in the moment, and how I can add value to this country for the future, for the next generations to come.
Amazing. I'm not gonna talk over that and add anything else because that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Love that.
Thanks.
It's almost like you rehearsed it.
I don't rehearse anything. That's my problem. All natural here, bro.
Amazing.
But it's really great to see you. That's what I really want to say.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Pete.
For your time this evening, and apologies if my driving on the way home isn't quite as you.
I'm looking forward to that. I hear you're a fast driver. Looking forward to that.
I don't know. Nice. So we'll do one more for the people on YouTube.
Oh, all right.
So this is the non-radio advice.
All right.
Advice to an expat coming over or potentially coming over to the kingdom.
What you need to do is do your homework. You guys all have social media access, LinkedIn, Instagram. Reach out to as many people as you can on LinkedIn. Probably, I'd say that's the most serious, if you will, platform in terms of understanding what you're getting yourself into if you're coming for business. For personal, just meet someone. There's a lot of people from Saudi Arabia that are going to London, that are in New York, Boston, any city really in the world. They travel a lot in Saudi Arabia. So if you meet someone from Saudi Arabia, or if you meet them through Instagram or whatever, and you meet in your city, sit down, get to know them, and ask as many questions as you can. Everyone has an angle, you know, and that's just human nature. But I would say, you know, do your homework, just like any other country, any other city. But keep an open mind. This is a golden time. This is an opportunistic time. So if you come from nothing and you want to be something, this is one of the places in the world that I'd recommend exploring.
And also, we just need to say congratulations as well, because just got an investor. That happened in one of the breaks.
That's right.
So happy right. Man.
Thank you.
Happy man here. Well earned, I'm sure.
It's your good fortune on me, Pete.
Yeah, maybe.
Your good fortune.
Probably not. But anyway, I hope you found that useful, and always reach out if you need to. I'm here on Instagram. The link will be in the comments, description. So hit me up if you need to.